So I wanted to take a minute to talk about something that's been on my chest for a while regarding young artists, especially those who are thinking about doing Comic-Cons and stuff like that. A little background: I did Comic-Cons for quite a bit. I got invited, but I would do some big shows and some small shows, and but there are ones that I would never do again, and it's usually because of the way it was run or the type of people going to the shows. But I think that there's enough avenues out there for artists that they don't have to put themselves into a trap like a Comic-Con. Because I feel like the negatives don't outweigh the positives. So you're gonna run into issues where you might not, make your table travel, and it could be kind of a letdown. So I wanted to make this video to kind of push the younger artists or even seasoned artists to think outside the box and search for venues that are not tied to Comic-Cons. Look for something within your niche. For example, here where I live, there's a festival called the Lilac Festival. That one is really expensive to get a table at, but looking for things like that, if you make stuff that you normally sell on Etsy and stuff like that, might be a better option than going to a Comic-Con where there's no guarantee. And I think it's time for artists to really start, I don't know if the words boycott or just outright stop going to these shows, because once these shows realize how important the artist is to the Comic-Con, the creator, then they'll start changing their tune. But right now, all they care about is celebrities and cosplay. And I have nothing against cosplay. I love cosplayers. A lot of my close friends are cosplayers. But I think when it shifted towards cosplay and celebrities being the focal point, you kind of lost what the true meaning of the Comic-Con was. And I know this might be a divisive subject, and I know, let me know in the comments if you have a different opinion on that, because it is a good conversation to have, but this is just my opinion. I think that Comic-Cons need to change, and I made the decision to stop doing Comic-Cons just because it felt like I was wasting a lot of time that I could have been creating. And a lot of the people that were meeting me at the shows are people that follow me online. So, they could easily just talk to me on the internet, reach out to me on the internet. And I would still do small shows. And what I mean by small shows is those shows that are like in hotels, Elk Lodge, or your Shriners Lodges. Those shows are okay because it's a low cost of entry, it's local, and you still get yourself out there. It's usually like a one-day event. It's not like Wizard World where it's 5 days from like Thursday. I think some of them even go like Wednesday, Tuesday. So those are not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the 1 day, I call them spot shows, because it's literally 3 to 4 hours, and then you go home. And you could go as big as you want depending on how much table space you get. I wouldn't stop going to those, because those are still creator focused. Those have a couple vendors and an artist alley, and then maybe 1 or 2 guests from the area or someone who lives nearby. Like here in Western New York, we have a couple creators like Steve Geiger, Graham Nolan, Joe Jusko, and we have some actors like J.G. Hertzler. I always jumble his name, but they get those names, but the bulk of the show is just vendors and artists, and sometimes some of the vendors are artists too, so that's pretty cool. My main gripe is with the bigger shows. It's time for the artists to stand up and be a community, because you know, a lot of the artists that I've ever met are introverts, and that's fine. It's a very introverted field, but it's time that we started taking a stand. And like Neil Adams, who vocalized his issues with the industry, I think it's time for us to start vocalizing our issues with the industry. And it might get me blackballed. I don't care. I have my fans, and I know I have the people that support me. And I'm at a point in my life where I just don't really care if I don't ever do another Comic-Con again. It's not worth the hassle. So I think it's been boiling in me for a while to talk about this and just to say it in the right way, because I'm not really crapping on those small Comic-Cons. My problem is the big ones, the ones that are about bringing in the $1 million celebrities, and it's kind of a slap in the face to the smaller creator who pays X amount of dollars for those artist alley tables, and sometimes they don't even get access to green room. And it's not even to feel pampered or anything, but you know, at least just get a cup of water. Or I don't know how many times I used to see some of the other artists like have to get a friend to go get them to get something to eat, and you see them deflated after the show, like, oh, you know, I only sold one book, I only sold one piece of art. And I think I was like, you know, all that effort and time you could have spent at home creating and selling it online. Why bother? Why bother going to these shows and busting your butt for, you know, pennies, dropping crazy amounts of money to bring them in? And that's why I like the smaller shows, because the smaller shows, they treat you more like family. Your local Comic-Cons. Here in Western New York, we have the Syracuse Power Con, hosted by Teddy. He's well-known promoter here in the area, and he always treats everybody really nice. And I think looking for shows like that, or community events, or library open houses, stuff within the community, and you'll see that you tend to do a lot better. But I say it's time to start boycotting the big Comic-Cons. It's just not worth it, and at the end you just feel burnt out. Why spend all that time and energy doing this for nothing? Because you can build a bigger fan base online. You don't ever have to leave your house, and you can do anything else you want to do. I think it's just a introspective that I've been having because of being locked up for a year because of the P word, and having a bunch of health issues. Like, it's nonstop. I'll get over one thing and then another happens, and then I finally came to the realization is like family and time. Once you lose your family, they're gone, you know, and once you lose time, you can't get it back. You can't pay for it. You can't exchange it. You've lost it. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'd rather have my weekend with my family, and then at night I'll jam out for a couple hours and draw something, instead of wasting my time for 4 days at a Comic-Con and not even sure if it's even worth it. Boycott's kind of a strong word, A lot of people who know me. I'm not a really controversial person. I have my takes, my beliefs, and my ideas, but you know, I always like to agree to disagree with people. I don't really hold any grudges. But I think it is time for the artists to be like, you know what, we're done. Because then it's going to start making those Comic-Cons focus and realize that their Comic-Cons are nothing, absolutely nothing, without the creators. Because then once the person goes and gets their autograph from Chris Hemsworth or Gal Gadot, where are they going to go? They're going to want to go see the Artist Alley. They want to go see the vendors. And then they're gone. So people are going to realize, why am I paying $150 for one day to go see this celebrity, then pay another to get an autograph or a picture, when then they got to leave, you know? And I think that's really going to start making them force a change in the Comic-Cons, because I feel so bad for some of my creator friends, and I always see them, like, they take pictures of their booth. They're like, oh, I'm here for the day, you know, come check me out at blah blah blah. And then 2 days later, you don't see a post, and the next thing you find out is they had a crappy weekend. So I'm all about the artists. I don't care about celebrities. I don't care about big Comic-Cons. Even big publishers, they can go jack off for all I care. They always want to keep rotating the same played out people. So I think it's time for the smaller artists to unite and say no more. And I know this is not my typical video, and please leave in the comments what you thought, your thoughts. You know, like I said, I'm super open to what you guys have to say, and always like to leave on a positive note. Don't forget to keep it over 9,000. Take care.